Welcome to a realistic day in my life working in tech sales remotely. Just got out of bed here and brushing my teeth. About to hop in the shower, but if you guys don't know me, I'm Chad. I am working in tech sales in my 20s remotely and currently in an Airbnb here in the mountains in the Carolinas, and excited to share my day with you. What's up, guys? First thing in the morning, it's so important to just drink water. So I have a ton of these, like big gallons, crystal, super good, and just gonna drink this just to feel hydrated. But now is time for coffee. Love the sign above my coffee machine here. But yeah, we're making some coffee. I am a big coffee drinker. One of the things that helps get me through my day. But let's hop outside. It's a little bit chilly out, but I do like to come outside. Typically, it's like 7:30ish right now, but typically the sun's out a little bit in the morning. Nature's still good, so it's cool to be around some more nature, being initially from like a big city. But yeah, so this is gonna be a fun month here. Can't wait for this coffee, honestly. All right, and while the coffee's brewing, let's get breakfast out of the way. Now, I don't eat a big breakfast any day, unless it's like a special occasion or I'm going out to eat with friends or family. I really don't eat breakfast. So what do I do instead? Well, I like to get some nutrients in. So I have some pure, fresh, like raw honey, and I just usually do a spoonful, or at least lately I've been doing this just because it just helps give me energy, give my brain energy, and I also am able to not have so much food to digest, which uses a lot of brain power. That's good stuff. Lately, I have some supplements that I'll take. This one is literally just one brand, just essentials, like a big multivitamin. They're super they're pretty intense. But yeah, this basically has everything that I need, and I just take 2 of these in the morning as well, and it helps kickstart me. It reminds me kind of like Limitless, if you've ever seen that movie. Crazy. Now, before actually kicking off the workday, I like to do a little bit of mindfulness or meditation before hitting it off, just because it helps me just have better focus throughout the day and just feel a little bit clearer. Now it's time for that elite coffee pour that you've been waiting for, that I've been waiting for, and it's gonna hit. I like to do a little bit of reading right before I start. Just got this book called The Power of Full Engagement, and it's basically a book on focus. It's a book on having optimal energy levels, and I haven't started it really yet. I read like the first chapter or two. I haven't gotten through too much of it, but yeah, excited to get through a little bit more of this. It helps you just kind of figure out your why in life and perform at your best level, because to have the most energy, you got to be doing something that you're passionate about and that you have a why behind and why you're doing it. All right, here's what we've been waiting for. We're getting into work right now. Pretty much just need my laptop. I used to use monitors, but I actually don't anymore, and it helps me be a little bit more agile. As you can see, I just like to work from kind of wherever, in an Airbnb, and also just on a desk or on an island, wherever I want. So it's been helpful to get used to just using the laptop. So I pretty much do like 3 things in my tech sales day. The first one is sourcing. Second one is outreaching. And the third one is calling. Sourcing is basically just finding companies that are potential good fits for the software we're selling, finding people at those companies that like make the decisions, and then adding them into like a task queue or putting them on a list to outreach them later in the day. And then calling is just calling, just dedicated like to just calling. I have blocks in the day where I just call. So today I'm gonna have some fun with you, and I'm gonna track what I'm doing with the overall goal to book 2 meetings. And I'm gonna tally it here with you as I go about my day so we can check in on me. I wanna have 4 good convos at least. Typically what I find is every 4 conversations, I at least book a meeting. So technically, actually, I'm shooting for 2, so let's shoot for 8 good conversations. It's gonna be a hefty day, but we're gonna do it, guys. We're gonna see what's going on. It's Friday, so prospects sometimes are in a better mood. Let's do it. I'll keep track with you. See you in a bit. All right, so I was just going through my inbox right before doing some outreach, and I realized that a prospect had booked with me on my calendar. In this case, I've already spoken to him, and we already had set up a time initially, but he told me that timing was off back then. So looks like he just got back to me a few weeks later, and he booked again. So I'm gonna count this as my first book meeting today, because let's go, it's a good company, so. So I just did like a pure full hour, maybe hour and 15 of just outreaching companies. I hit like 12 companies just now, so I'm super proud of that. Getting slacks right now. But anyways, I love doing that first thing in the morning because that takes the most brain power. The trick to that was that I set them up. I set up the companies that I wanted to reach out to the day before. So yesterday evening, I was sourcing and finding the companies that I wanted to reach out in the morning. And this all has to do with like planning your day the day before, which helps me get the most speed in the morning instead of spending that time in the morning thinking about what I need to do and spending time wondering what I want to do. I already have it ready. So boom, that was so fire. Gonna take a little break, chat with a teammate. And yeah, let's keep the momentum going. Yo, yo, yo. All right, so I just did a ton of outreach. I probably did like 14 accounts outreach, which is great. And what that looks like is putting them in like a sequence. In tech sales specifically, sequences are super useful because it can allow automated follow-ups to happen throughout the course of like 2 weeks per prospect that you enroll, sometimes longer, and you can customize each email in most cases so it's not so automated and kind of personalized. But what's most important is I have it like generate call tasks for me throughout the 2 weeks that they're gonna be getting hit with emails every now and then, so that I can call them in a spaced amount of time, and it'll automatically give me those tasks on different days so that when I go to do calls, which today I'm gonna go do calls after my one-on-one. I have a one-on-one with my account executive that I chat with, just to strategize on accounts and plays and where we're gonna be focusing, what industries and stuff, which I'm about to jump into. But I wanna talk about call blocks and why I haven't made many calls yet, because I like to do calls in a dedicated time to just focus on those. So what I do for calls in this third block is I follow what's called golden hours, which I talked about this in different videos about my schedule and what it overall looks like. But it's basically like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., 12 to 2, and 4 to 6, your prospects local time. So if you're like calling on the West Coast or wherever you are in the world, it's gotta be, this is studied like the local times for your prospects. Sometimes I call prospects that are on the different side of the country than I am if I'm on the East Coast, and I move around sometimes. So making sure that I maximize my call times during these hours are when they're most likely to pick up, which gives me the best chance of catching them at a good time where they're actually be more receptive to chat and potentially book a meeting with them, right? All right, so just hopped off a one-on-one. Gonna refill my coffee and get straight into dials. Honestly, not quite hungry yet. Sometimes I just eat like something small, or like I honestly haven't eaten much today yet, but not really too hungry. So I'd rather get as much work done as I can like in the early hours, and then that way I just feel better like taking breaks. So it's still early, it's 12:30. Time honestly flies in this job, but I'm gonna make a good amount of calls, see if I can get some of those conversations that I said I would get today before I do something like eating, which will help me kind of just calm down a bit. Just had my first good conversation with a prospect. Unfortunately, they were using alternative tech to ours, and tried to handle objections a bit, but it seemed like there wasn't really room or any pain that I could identify. There wasn't really room to change. And we don't want to fix anything that's not broken. And in this case, I probably can reach out to another person and see if there's any pain that they're experiencing. Otherwise, sometimes you don't want to spend too much time on folks who already have something in place, solving the issues that your software solves. That's just the world of tech sales sometimes. And yeah, every conversation isn't a book meeting, but gonna keep it going and see what happens. All right, so just got out of my call block, or we call it call blitz sometimes, where we just call our prospects. I had 3 great conversations. None of them turned into a meeting. And like I said before, the metric sales is all about tracking like your conversions, right? So I've tracked over time that like every 4 conversations, typically the 4th is a booked meeting. But I need to take a break. I'm gonna eat lunch just because it'll help me have some more energy to go back in, see if I can grab another conversation, and grab another meeting to hit my goal of 2 in today. But yeah. Just another quick tip about calling while I'm chefing up eggs here. So you might be wondering, like, Chad, what do you mean by 3 good combos and you haven't booked a meeting? In tech sales, you wanna make sure a meeting makes sense. And this is where we get to qualification. Like 4 things you wanna look out for in terms of qualifying a meeting to see if it makes sense. 1 is budget. Do they have a budget? Do they have budget on the team for the software that you solve? There's ways you can find this out just by seeing if they're already using stuff, which means that they invest in software already. You don't always have to ask directly. The other thing is authority. Are you speaking to the right person who has authority to sign and implement something like the software that you're selling? So you want to make sure you're talking to the right people. And this is why if you're talking to someone who doesn't have authority, who isn't like a decision maker, it doesn't make sense for you to book a meeting. And sometimes you don't know until you call the person. Not every meeting is going to make sense on these calls. So that's what I mean by like good combos, but no meetings. It's probably one of these 4. And then the other 3 are need. Do they have a need for the product? Do they have pain that your product solves? And this can be found out through asking them questions like, are there any challenges that you're facing in this specific area and the area that your software solves? And so you want to do discovery with them on the phone call to see if they have pain where it makes it even worth having that convo. And the other one is timeline. Sometimes they are interested, but timing is off. They're waiting to hire a new person to look into software, or they're waiting for some transitions at the company to happen before a meeting makes sense. And so you don't always want to push for a meeting on each call. You also want to make sure timing makes sense, because as a BDR, you're going to be booking meetings for your account executives. You want to make sure that you're booking them good opportunities that will turn into closed deals, which is ultimately what the goal is, generating opportunities that will turn into cash for the business and cash for you. All right, so I ended up catching up with some teammates from 4 p.m. to finishing the day. So I didn't get as much sourcing done today as I would have liked, but it's Friday afternoon, and catching up with teammates at work, especially while remote, is something that is super valuable. So I didn't count it as a loss that I didn't source as much as I would have liked to, but I ended up booking my other meeting that it came in, and boom, it wasn't on a phone call. It was actually a company that I was reaching out to over email for a while. Never called them on the phone. They ended up getting back to us and came in for a meeting that we got on the books now. So I hit my goal of 2 booked meetings, 4 good combos. I didn't hit 8, which is fine because I hit my overall goal. But it's definitely time to wrap up work. I'm gonna go make some beats right now. We headed out to the gym. Let's get it. Ended up hitting the steam room, which is also nearby, and chugging some water coming back. We got some steak cooking up. I'm just eating dinner now and got the veggie juice and wrapping up the day kind of here. Just wrapping up the day here. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing a realistic day in my life working in tech sales. Even going in the weekend, I think there's something to spending some time alone in your youth, in your 20s or early 20s or even earlier, just to be able to get some clarity for yourself and just spend time getting ahead in life. I think I used to have the mindset of living it up while I'm young and doing all these things. And while I do that in moderation, I think it's also important to spend time just working on building what you want to build in this world and avoiding distractions for periods of time. I think it's healthy in moderation, like I said, but sometimes there's nothing like just avoiding distractions and just getting away from everything for a while. Sounds corny maybe. I don't think so actually though. I love it. I'm chilling in nature, in the mountains, in an Airbnb solo, and I'm loving it and I'm having a good time and chilling and working on some things that I'm passionate about. So if you enjoyed this video, hope to see you around. And if you are someone who is interested in getting into tech sales or needs some help or wants to learn more about what that looks like, click the first link in the description. You can see how I might be able to help you. Otherwise, I hope to see you in another video and hope you found this useful or helpful or enjoyable to watch. And check out my beat channel if you want to, if you think any of it was good. Second link in the description will link my beat channel. Would love to see you somewhere. So see you in a bit. Peace.